In this journey of reclaiming inner peace and clarity, let's acknowledge the whirlwind of thoughts, emotions, and repetitive patterns that pull us into their relentless loops. Together, we can gently traverse these waves with patience, understanding, and self-awareness. The intention here is to awaken a gentle, yet resolute shift within, a path to clarity, much like a calm lake that reflects truth unblemished by turbulence. Our modern lives are defined by motion, noise, and a ceaseless barrage of information. In all this motion, the mind often finds itself looping over old wounds, unrealized desires, and future anxieties. This loop, by its very nature, traps us in patterns that make inner peace seem unattainable. I invite you to ask yourself, have you ever noticed how often your thoughts lead you into the same place? What does it mean to be free of these repetitive spirals? When you wake up, what's the first thought that crosses your mind? Is it gratitude, an unresolved worry, or just numbness from the repetition of daily routines? Becoming aware of these first few thoughts is pivotal. It is here that the loops often begin. Let's pause. Take a slow breath. Feel it fill your lungs and then exhale. In this moment, you are not bound by the past or tethered to future worries. You are here, with me, in a breath of stillness. Breaking free starts with noticing. It may seem paradoxical, but freedom begins with recognition, not resistance. When we push against our thoughts, they become like unruly children craving more attention. But when we acknowledge them, when we simply observe without judgment, they lose their grip on us. In Zen, there is a saying, "What we resist, persists. What we observe, transforms." To begin to break free from mind loops, ask yourself, am I fighting my own mind or observing it? Observe your mind as you would watch clouds passing through the sky. Sometimes the clouds are heavy and dark, other times they are soft and light. But none of them are permanent. Our thoughts, too, are like this. You might wonder, how can I separate myself from my thoughts when they feel so overwhelming? The key is to understand that you are not your thoughts. They are simply waves in the ocean of your consciousness. The gentle practice of mindful observation. Start small. Take a few moments each day to sit quietly. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. Let whatever thoughts arise do so without interference. Picture them as leaves floating down a river. They come and they go. Watch them, but do not reach for them. This practice builds your awareness muscle, the ability to witness without becoming entangled. As you cultivate this habit, the loops will slowly lose their intensity. There will be times when you feel as though you've slipped back into old patterns. That's natural. It is important to show yourself compassion during these moments. Progress is not a straight line. It ebbs and flows. In moments of doubt, I ask you, can you find it within yourself to offer the same kindness to your mind that you would to a friend in distress? Inner peace is found in small acts. Reclaiming peace does not require grand gestures. It often lies in the smallest acts. Savoring a quiet cup of tea, walking mindfully without an agenda, or listening deeply to a loved one without planning your response. These moments, as ordinary as they may seem, are opportunities to disrupt the mind loops. They create space where there once was none. What if I told you that inner peace was always within you, like a song waiting to be heard when the noise quiets down? Perhaps you feel skeptical. That's okay, but consider this. When you were a child, you had moments of pure joy, curiosity, and presence. Those qualities are still within you. They are obscured, not lost. Ask yourself, what small step can I take today to reconnect with that quiet joy? Letting go of self-criticism. One of the most insidious loops is the loop of self-criticism. You might find yourself replaying mistakes, feeling inadequate, or comparing yourself to others. This mental chatter is often relentless. The way to break free is to acknowledge that self-judgment stems from fear of not being enough, fear of failure, fear of not being loved. When you confront these fears with gentle curiosity instead of harsh judgment, you begin to unravel their hold. Imagine speaking to the fearful part of you with the kindness of a wise elder. Say, I see you. I know you are trying to protect me, but I am safe now. Each time you engage with compassion, you weaken the power of self-criticism. It takes courage to meet your own fears, but each time you do, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. The power of silence. Have you ever noticed how silence can be deafening, even terrifying? In our culture of constant stimulation, silence feels foreign, yet it is within silence that the greatest revelations occur. True peace is not found in the absence of thoughts, but in the stillness beneath them. Silence is the doorway to that stillness. To reclaim clarity, we must dare to sit in the quiet and face what emerges. Perhaps you resist silence because it forces you to confront uncomfortable truths. If that is the case, ask yourself, what am I truly afraid of? Often, it is not the silence itself, but what it reveals about our unmet needs, fears, or dreams deferred. But what if facing these truths was the first step to transcending them? Practical steps to reclaim inner clarity. Begin each day with a simple practice of stillness, even if just for 5 minutes. Create an intention. I am here to observe and not to judge. Throughout your day, pause when you feel the loops tightening. Take a breath. Remind yourself that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer. You are the awareness that sees the loops, not the loops themselves. When we approach our inner world with patience, gentleness, and persistent effort, we find ourselves gradually released from the patterns that once bound us. And in that release, there is peace. We reclaim clarity not through force, but through acceptance, observation, and small acts of presence. Embracing the shadows. How acceptance transforms your inner struggles into strengths. As we move further into this journey of breaking free from mind loops and reclaiming clarity, it is essential to understand that true transformation often begins with facing what we fear and deny within ourselves. Inner peace is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to embrace and transform our struggles into sources of strength. Let us explore this deeper together. The shadows within. Every human being carries shadows, those aspects of ourselves that we often prefer to hide or ignore. They may be our fears, our regrets, our anger, or the parts of ourselves that we deem unworthy. These shadows can create powerful loops within the mind, cycling over and over again, whispering tales of inadequacy and doubt. Ask yourself, what shadows do you carry, and how often do they make themselves known in your thoughts? Our shadows are not our enemies. They are wounded parts of ourselves seeking acknowledgement, love, and understanding. By turning away from them, we allow them to fester and grow stronger. But when we choose to face them, we begin a process of healing and integration. It is here that true clarity arises, not from banishing our struggles, but from embracing them. Acceptance as a pathway to freedom. To accept something does not mean to condone or be passive. Acceptance is an act of courage. It is standing in the presence of your shadow and saying, I see you and I am willing to understand you. Consider the weight of carrying unacknowledged fear, guilt, or shame. These burdens keep us trapped in mental loops, draining our energy and distorting our perception of ourselves and the world. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to lay down this burden, even for a moment? Imagine the freedom of accepting yourself as you are, without the constant battle to be different, better, or perfect. Acceptance allows us to release the need for control, and to step into a place of inner calm. Many people believe that peace comes from avoiding struggle, but in reality, peace is found through engaging with our struggles in a different way. Consider a time when you faced a significant challenge and emerged stronger, wiser, or more compassionate. The struggle was painful, but it also shaped you. Reflect on this. Can your current struggles be an opportunity for growth, even if they feel insurmountable? It is through struggle that we develop resilience, empathy, and wisdom. When we resist our struggles, we remain stuck. But when we embrace them, we find the strength to transform them into stepping stones on our path to clarity. Journaling. Take time to write down your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Allow whatever arises to come forth. You may find patterns, fears, or memories that have been hidden. By bringing them into the light, you begin the process of healing, self-compassion. Practice. When you encounter a part of yourself that you dislike or judge harshly, pause and ask, how would I treat a friend who felt this way? Speak to yourself with that same kindness. Self-compassion is a powerful antidote to self-criticism and shame. Mindful observation of emotions. Emotions are like waves, they rise and fall, but they are not permanent. When a difficult emotion arises, observe it without becoming it. Say to yourself, I am feeling anger instead of I'm angry. This subtle shift reminds you that emotions are experiences, not identities. To embrace our shadows requires vulnerability. It requires us to admit that we are not perfect, that we have flaws and fears. In a world that often demands perfection and strength, vulnerability can feel risky. But it is through vulnerability that we connect with others and with ourselves on a deeper level. Have you ever noticed that the most genuine connections are formed when we allow ourselves to be seen, flaws and all? Vulnerability is not weakness, it is the courage to be seen as we are. When we hide our shadows, we isolate ourselves. When we embrace them, we create space for connection and understanding. Letting go of control. One of the primary sources of mind loops is the desire to control every aspect of our lives. We fear uncertainty, so we try to predict, plan, and manipulate outcomes. But life is inherently unpredictable. The more we grasp for control, the tighter the loops become. Ask yourself, what am I trying to control in my life? And how is that need for control keeping me trapped? Letting go of control does not mean becoming passive. It means accepting that not everything is within our power and focusing on what we can influence, our thoughts, actions, and responses. It means trusting in the flow of life, even when it feels uncertain. Transforming pain into wisdom. Pain is a powerful teacher. It shows us where we are wounded and where we need to heal. When we resist pain, we amplify it. When we face it, we learn from it. Consider a difficult experience in your life that you have yet to make peace with. What lessons might it hold for you? What strength have you gained from enduring it? Transformation does not happen overnight. It is a gradual process of peeling back layers, examining old wounds, and choosing to see them through the lens of compassion and growth. Each time you choose to face your shadows instead of running from them, you reclaim a piece of your power and your peace. Building a new relationship with yourself. To reclaim clarity, we must build a new relationship with ourselves, one based on understanding, compassion, and acceptance. This means becoming our own ally, not our own enemy. When we treat ourselves with kindness, we break the cycle of self-judgment and create space for healing. Imagine speaking to yourself as you would to a child who is hurting. You would not berate or criticize them, you would comfort and guide them. Can you offer yourself that same kindness? This is the foundation of true inner peace. A moment of reflection. Take a deep breath and sit with this question. What would your life look like if you were free from the loops of self-doubt, fear, and judgment? What would it feel like to wake up each day with a sense of peace and clarity? Hold this vision in your mind. It is not a distant dream, it is a possibility that you can create one small step at a time. The art of letting go, releasing attachments, and finding true liberation. In our journey to reclaim inner peace and clarity, there comes a profound step that requires deep courage and unwavering commitment: letting go. Letting go of attachments, expectations, and the illusions that we cling to can feel like standing on the edge of an abyss. But paradoxically, it is in letting go that we find true freedom and liberation. Together, let us explore this delicate art with compassion and understanding. The nature of attachment. From a young age, we learn to attach ourselves to things, people, and ideas. We attach to the belief that our worth is tied to our achievements, to relationships that define our identity, and to possessions that promise security and happiness. While attachment is natural, it becomes problematic when it breeds dependency and fear. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to so tightly that it prevents me from experiencing true freedom? Attachments often create mind loops that keep us tethered to old stories and identities. They keep us replaying past memories or anxiously projecting into the future. When we attach ourselves to outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment, as life rarely conforms to our rigid expectations. To begin the process of letting go, we must first recognize what we are holding on to and why. The illusion of control and certainty. One of the primary reasons we struggle to let go is our desire for control. We believe that by clinging tightly to people, situations, or beliefs, we can shield ourselves from pain and uncertainty. But life is inherently uncertain. The more we resist this reality, the more we suffer. Consider this. How often do your attempts to control outcomes lead to frustration and anxiety, rather than the security you seek? Letting go does not mean giving up. It means releasing the illusion of control and learning to flow with life's currents. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you open your hand, the sand remains. This is the paradox of control. By letting go, we often gain what we seek. Releasing expectations. Expectations are another source of attachment that binds us. We expect life to unfold in a certain way, people to behave as we wish, and ourselves to meet specific standards. When reality does not match our expectations, we experience disappointment, resentment, and self-criticism. To reclaim inner peace, we must learn to release these expectations and accept life as it is, not as we wish it to be. Ask yourself, how often do your expectations lead to suffering? What would it feel like to approach life with curiosity rather than expectation? When we release expectations, we open ourselves to the present moment and all its possibilities. We become more flexible, resilient, and compassionate toward ourselves and others. And the role of mindfulness in letting go. Mindfulness is a powerful practice that helps us cultivate awareness of our attachments and the suffering they create. When we are mindful, we can observe our thoughts and emotions without becoming entangled in them. We can recognize when we are clinging to an outcome, a belief, or a desire, and choose to let it go. Begin by bringing mindfulness to your daily life. Notice when you feel tension, anxiety, or frustration. Ask yourself, what am I attached to in this moment? Is it an outcome, a belief, or an image of myself? By shining the light of awareness on our attachments, we weaken their hold over us. The practice of non-attachment. Non-attachment does not mean detachment or indifference. It means fully engaging with life while remaining free from the need to possess or control. It means loving deeply without clinging, striving without obsession, and experiencing without grasping. When we practice non-attachment, we can appreciate the beauty of life's impermanence and flow with it, rather than resisting it. Consider this. What would it be like to love someone deeply without fearing their loss, to pursue a goal with passion, but without attachment to the outcome? Non-attachment frees us from the chains of fear and desire, allowing us to live more fully and authentically. Letting go of the past. Many of us are trapped in mind loops because we cannot let go of the past. We replay old hurts, regrets, and missed opportunities, hoping that somehow, by reliving them, we can change the past. But the past is gone. Clinging to it only perpetuates our suffering. To let go, we must forgive ourselves and others, and release the grip of the past on our present. Forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful actions. It means freeing ourselves from the pain of resentment and regret. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to let go of the past and forgive? What burdens would you be free of? Forgiveness is a gift we give to ourselves, a key to unlocking the door to freedom. Finding liberation in the present moment. True liberation is found in the present moment. When we let go of attachments to the past and expectations for the future, we can fully engage with life as it unfolds. We can experience the richness of each moment, free from the constraints of our mind loops. This does not mean that life will always be easy or pain-free, but it means that we can meet life's challenges with clarity, presence, and peace. Take a moment to sit quietly and focus on your breath. As you inhale, imagine drawing in peace and clarity. As you exhale, imagine releasing attachments, fears, and expectations. With each breath, you become more present, more liberated. This simple practice can be a powerful reminder of your ability to let go and find freedom. The courage to let go. Letting go is not a one-time act. It is a lifelong practice. It requires courage to face our attachments and release them. But each time we let go, we create space for something new. New experiences, new insights, new growth. What are you ready to let go of today? What new possibilities might open up when you release your grip? Letting go is a journey of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in life, and trust that even in uncertainty, there is beauty and meaning. As we walk this path together, may we find the courage to release what no longer serves us and embrace the freedom that lies on the other side. A final reflection. As we conclude this exploration, I invite you to reflect. What attachments are keeping you from experiencing true peace and clarity? What would it feel like to release them, even for a moment? In this moment of stillness, know that you have the power to let go. It is within you. It always has been. This concludes our exploration of reclaiming inner peace and clarity by breaking free from mind loops, embracing our shadows, and letting go of attachments. Thank you for journeying with me on this path.